Hello everyone, my name is Adu and this is Ready Go Expat. In today's video, I'm going to take you with me inside a Chinese supermarket. You'll be able to see the variety of products, the costs, and so that this video doesn't get too long, I decided to split it in half. And in this first part, I'm going to focus on meat, dairy products, alcohol, drinks, spices, and so on. Ready? Go. So the supermarket I usually go to is called Vanguard. It used to be a joint venture between the British company Tesco and a Chinese company, but then recently it was bought by China, and it's now part of the China Resource Holding Group. So they've got over 4,000 stores in China. This store that I'm going is actually a very small store because it's in the suburb of a small city. This is in the city where I lived for the last 3 years. It's called Fuzhou, but it's the Fuzhou in Jiangxi province, not the big Fuzhou in Fujian province, okay? So this is actually in the suburbs of the city. If you go downtown, you'll be able to find Walmart and other bigger supermarkets. For you to when you check the price, if you want to have an idea like in US dollars, you can check the conversion rate, but I'm going to put here today's rate. So $1 is 6.8 Chinese yuan, okay, just so you have an idea. So I left my stuff at the locker, and then the first part of the supermarket, you have dairy products. So you just saw the bags of rice, but now you have like the milk. So cow milk in China is usually imported. So you're going to see there British milk, Irish, Australian milk. That's the cow milk. In China, it's really, really common for everyone to drink soy milk. So here you have the water. In China, Chinese people usually boil water, and they usually drink warm, hot water. But of course, you have bottled mineral water, which is very cheap. Then you got coffee, Nescafe. You got like bottled coffee, which my students love. They drink when they want to wake up. And here you have soy milk. This brand is my favorite one. It's called Vita Soy, and it's very, very cheap as well. And then you have bottled teas, different type of teas, juice. So these are mostly Chinese brands, but you also have some international brands. And it's also very common to see, people buying these bottled drinks. And you got also like Minute Maid, so you got also international brands for juices. And of course, the soft drinks, so you get Coca-Cola products, Coke Zero, Pepsi, Fanta. You can get that extremely cheap in any supermarket and any small shop. Here you have the alcohol, the liquor. So this is soju, if I'm not mistaken. It's the Korean alcohol. And you have Absolute Vodka, Jack Daniels. You have all these international brands. Here are the wine, the different types of wines. You get wine from South Africa, Australia, Chile, Spain, France. So again, if you get imported wine, it's usually more expensive, but there's also good Chinese wine. And this is the Chinese alcohol called baijiu. It's really popular. You have like very cheap ones, but you also have extremely expensive ones. And the same thing I mentioned with wine happens with beer. So you have the local beer, as you can see, but you also have Budweiser, Carlsberg, also German brands. And Chinese beer is usually fresher. The alcohol percentage is not very high. And it's very, very cheap, and I really like especially Qingdao beer. So here you can see bags of rice, like these huge bags of rice, and it's common to buy rice in like 5-10 kilos because it's staple food in China. You get it like it's big part of the cuisine. And here you see big bottles of cooking oil, because a lot of dishes in China, they are stir-fried, so cooking oil is like really common, so they buy it in these big bottles. I think you can buy 5 liters up to 10 liters. This is a small section of imported food. So these are Korean products, also I think muesli from Germany or in other countries. You can see the prices are higher because that's not part of like the typical Chinese breakfast, let's say. But yeah, this is part of the Chinese food. It's instant noodles. They buy it in these buckets, which are very, very convenient. So you can just put on boiled water on the train, and that's it. Like, and you have a meal. And something that I was really surprised is like the amount of different types of sauces of like soy sauce, vinegar, oyster sauce. So like they have a lot of different types of sauces. Like it's almost the whole aisle like of sauces, and they're also part of the the a lot of the dishes, typical Chinese dishes. I usually buy rice vinegar. Like I usually buy rice vinegar there, and I usually buy this one there. If you can see, that's the brand I usually buy. Now, tuna fish, this is imported. Is from Malaysia. This brand, it's a bit more expensive, but this is quite good. I usually buy tuna fish, and I usually buy this brand because it's quite common in most supermarkets in China. So you see the name Tesco there is from the British supermarket, the British chain. So you have a lot of Tesco products because, as I said at the beginning, it used to be a joint venture between Tesco and the Chinese enterprise, but now it's Chinese. But you can see some Tesco products there. And as I said before, it's a small supermarket, so don't expect like a large variety of international products. For example, you see the herbs, and you can see that the names are in Chinese and in English. So even though it's a Chinese brand, it's a Chinese product made in China. Many of the products have Chinese and English, so don't worry about that. I mean, some of the products won't have English written, but you can use a translator with your phone, and it's really not that difficult. Like I thought it was going to be more difficult when I got there, but it's not. And of course, you have barcodes. So if you want to confirm the price, you can check the barcode and compare with the price tag there. So it's not that difficult. But you see, this is Tesco garlic seasoning. It's not typical Chinese. It's British, and it's 33.90. So you see, it's a bit more expensive than the other spices because it's imported, of course. So it's a bit more expensive. So you have other products there, also Chinese, some imported. You have jams, Chinese jams. I think they're Chinese, and also there you can see peanut butter, which is something that it's not common in the traditional Chinese cuisine, but they also have that options of peanut butter in the supermarket. Now we're getting to the dairy products. You have yogurt, fermented milk. My students drink that every day at school in the morning. I can see them with bottles of yogurt or fermented milk. So it's really, really common here. And the butter. So butter, because it's product like it's not that common here. I'd say like in the cuisine, the butter. So the butter is usually imported, just like the cheese, you know. So it's a bit more expensive than the other products. Let's say like cow milk, butter, cheese. Okay, so I usually buy the cheese on Taobao online. Oh yeah, you have Yakult as well. It's very common, very popular among kids. And here you get there's ham, bacon, sausages. I usually buy from this brand called Smithfield. You might think it's American, but it was bought by a Chinese company. So you can see like a big variety of products. So if you're American, for instance, you like bacon, there it is. There's bacon also, and it's quite good. I've tasted that. It's quite good. That's the one I usually buy. And now we get to the part where they sell fish, crabs, and other animals. I don't usually buy like fresh fish like this. I usually get like the frozen fillet, but you can go there. You can ask the shop assistant which one you want to buy. They'll catch it for you, or you can do it yourself. And the funny thing is, like, they have frogs there to sell. Again, it's a local supermarket, like in the suburbs of the city. I wouldn't find frogs in a bigger supermarket downtown, but yeah, they have frogs there, which I think is quite interesting. And then crabs and all sorts of different types of fish. So you have the bigger ones, the tiny ones, but as I said, I'm actually allergic to seafood, so I eat fish, but I don't buy seafood, of course. Shellfish. So yeah, so you got fish there as well. You can just pick shrimp, all kinds of shrimps, different sizes. And here's the meat section. You can check the price. The Chinese love chicken, so there's a large variety of like different parts of the chicken there for you to pick, and yeah, it's all there. So you just pick, and they'll wait for you, and that's it. Like, and you just take it with you. So you just pick there. It's very easy, very straightforward, and I usually get the fish, the chicken breast, actually. Sorry, not fish, the chicken breast. So you can get chicken wings, you can get chicken breast. I usually get the chicken breast. It's cheap, and it's like chicken in China is quite cheap. In this other part, you have beef and pork, and here's the interesting thing. So you've also got like all different parts of the cow, okay? Again, a problem with the language is that you wouldn't understand what part of the cow it is. Okay, so if you are, if you love your steak, then I don't know the cuts. Oh, this is quite interesting. I think it's cow heart. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. I also think it's quite interesting. And then you also have different parts of the cow, the pig. Pork is very, very common in Chinese cuisine. And it's not expensive. It's not that expensive compared to beef, to cow meat. That is a bit more expensive because you're gonna notice that the beef is usually imported from the US, Australia, Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay. So I usually buy the beef there. I get some beef, which is very, very good. Again, it's a bit more expensive than pork. But you can see that I actually talked to her, and she knows I'm from Brazil, and I showed her that the beef is actually from Brazil. So it's really funny that she knows I'm from Brazil and that I love beef, and I always go there, and she already knows exactly what I want. So that's a good thing of a local supermarket in the suburb. They're very, very friendly there. Here's frozen food. So the frozen section. You got, again, a lot of shellfish, seafood. These rolls that's lamb. It's also very, very common here in China to eat lamb, and it's delicious. I love buying lamb. On the streets as well, they have lamb on a stick. It's very, very common, and it's very common like late at night to just go out and drink that, eat some lamb steak with beer. And I think, yeah, that's squid, right? Frozen squid. And they have got all kinds of like fish, so that's what I usually buy. I buy the fish fillet like that. I think it's just like I buy in Brazil. I prefer to buy like frozen. There's shrimp as well, and you got all sorts of large variety of seafood. And one thing that we don't have in Brazil is these are like dumplings, and I think they have balsa as well. I'm not sure, but it's very common to sell dumplings, frozen dumplings. I bought them already. You just go home, you boil them, or you steam them, and they're quite good. And they're cheap as well. I think it's enough for like 2 people, one of those bags. So it's quite good. And it's also very cheap if you any Chinese restaurant, not any, but like a lot of them will serve dumplings, so it's quite cheap as well. So what did you think of the supermarket? Were the costs anything you didn't expect, or the different products you can find there? Please leave a comment below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can watch the second part of this video. I'll see you next time.